Then on top of that, the battle took like 39 minutes to start. They do that thing where they keep waiting for the views in the actual room to get to 300, 400, 500,000. I said when the video started, you are not going to get more than 200,000 or 170,000 views of this battle because, like I said, see, the Bay Area music, I'm gonna say, is almost to a certain extent like Washington D.C. go-go music, where it's only mostly people who are from California. And even then, I'd say mostly people who are from north of Fresno, California, that really enjoy it. You're not going to listen to the I Am Sues, the Mike Sherms, the Zay Bangs, the Shooter Gang Conies, the Nelly MB Narrows, the Haiti Babies a lot of the time, unless you are from California. It just is what it is. It's something about that Bay Area sound that only appeals to California, versus when you go to Southern California, and you listen to the Shoreline Mafias and you listen to the Blue Bucks Clan and the Blue Faces, they have songs that they're concentrated and centered in LA culture, but it's more well received in the clubs in Atlanta, in the clubs in New Orleans, in the clubs in Houston. I can't tell you why. Now, I've also said that, you can't keep fighting from acceptance. You can't keep fighting for acceptance from people who are from outside of the. There was a time where I used to really I used to really talk mess about the SOBRBEs and the Young T.O.s and the Slimmy Bs because their music would not make it outside of California. But then I thought, you know what? Who cares? Like, as long as you cater to your audience and grab a grip on your audience here and you talk to them and you connect to them, what matters? I think we're at the point now in the world where you don't have to. When I was a child, when I was 13, 14, or 12, or 11, 10, that was that era. That was the era where if you were a singer or if you were a rapper, nigga, it would be well advised for you to make a song that could play and be well received in the club in Atlanta, could play and be well received in the clubs in Detroit, Michigan, could play and be well received in the clubs of Fargo, North Dakota. I think that's in North Dakota or South Dakota. So, but those were different times. Nowadays, you can have your own audience that's just popping. Every other day, I learn about a singer from some genre. I'm learning Spanish, so every other day I learn about a genre. I learn about a singer who, in a certain pocket genre of Espanol, is really popular. I was listening to Chalino Sanchez just right now before I logged in. This dude is like the legend of corridos music, which is like a really popping music for like Mexicanos. Pero es como. Still started speaking Spanish again, but it's like, it ain't like I grew up listening to that nigga shit, and it's hella Mexicans that pop in California who play this dude's music all the time, and I just always was oblivious to it. So you can have your own fan group and be popular. Me and the dude was just talking about that. Shout out to Alex Mesa and his family, the Mesa family. They do norteño music. I think it's called norteño music. And they did like a tour in Georgia and Alabama. And like I told them, I was like, bro, a lot of people, I said, you're doing smart by going down south, because a lot of people don't know. There are a lot of Mexicans down south in Alabama and Georgia and South Carolina now. And they would love to go to concerts and see their own music be performed. It's just that a lot of the times, specifically with down south, the music industry is kind of overshadowed by the hip hop scene down there, maybe the country scene to a little bit, that you won't see it. But no, I told him, like, bro, there's an audience out there that wants to see their people. So you're doing the right thing by going out there. So with that being said, this is all very important to bring into the conversation, because 𝐒40, at any given moment that he had a time, when he had a microphone in his hand, outside of dancing like Caillou from the program Caillou, or Arthur in the intro of Arthur, he let everybody know how F y'all if you don't accept Bay Area music, y'all call me weird, y'all call me this and that. He was really getting his shit off. And I think part of the reason 𝐒40 was ranting like that was because this was the most attention, most public platform he's had in the last few years outside of going. I think right now, when we had 𝐒40 talking on there, that was the most that anybody's paid attention to him outside of the California since he's been on the Breakfast Club, which he went on there this week actually to promote the battle. So I understand why he wanted to get all that off. And I felt him. When we talk about the battle itself, did I enjoy the battle? I enjoyed the battle. Most of Too Short's catalog I was not familiar with. I was not familiar with most of Too Short's catalog. I'll be all the way honest with you. Most of 𝐕40's songs I knew, even if I didn't know the name of the song, I knew. Like he played the Bumble. He played the Bumble, but then he, in that first half of it, he played Mr. Flamboyant, the intro to, yeah, I'm just a hustler on the go. Out here getting my money, don't you know? Living kind of comfortable, large mail and all, yeah. And a jealous motherfucker would love to see me fall like that. Dun, dun. And then he cut it off. And he played the Bumble. And that the Bumble song, that's my joint. I'm coming smebbing, bro. Like, bro, that's my joint. Like, if you from California, bro, that... So I lived in Vallejo from 6 years old to 14 and a half years old. And so the battle itself, even though it took 39 minutes for the battle to start, it was like an exorcism. It was like a breath of fresh air to me because, like I said, I lived in the Bay Area during the hyphy movement, or during where a lot, like leading up to the point that Too Short and 𝐕40 came out. They were playing all Bay Area songs, all these songs that I grew up around, and I missed it, bro. I remember the Federation. They played the Federation. There's some hoes in here. They played Keek the Sneak Town Business. If you from the Bay Area, y'all know when Town Business, it's different because a lot of people who watch that battle, there are some people who were watching that battle and had never heard these songs before. You'd have had to really grow up in the Bay Area. Remember when these songs were playing on the radio all the time? Sabrani, Walnut, 98, Brookfield, 800 Block 7, bro. Like it was just a beautiful time in history, man. Like a great time to be alive. And even now, we're still there. Like, don't get me wrong. When you go to the Bay Area, they're still playing Capallo. That's one thing that the Bay Area has always did good with. They support their own. Their radio station in the Bay Area support their own. And truth be told, the Bay Area is like 23 million people, so they have enough people to be able to support their own. Like it ain't like it's a small village in Alaska. Like you guys have enough people to support your own and still make money. So I think for me it was more of a celebration of Bay Area culture, and I truthfully appreciated that. Even if you're not from the Bay Area, because we can have that conversation. I saw that part in the battle where 𝐕40 turned to the DJ and was like, "You from Pittsburgh? Ain't that the Delta? Don't they call that the Delta?" And the DJ was like, "Nah, man, it's just Pittsburgh. It's just Pittsburgh." Because when you from like them outskirt kind of cities, it's the Bay Area, but it's not the Bay Area, like Antioch, Pittsburgh, or Concord. Even if you're from Vallejo, bro, like even if you're from Vallejo, it's a lot of times like people talk about Vallejo like it's not the Bay Area. To me, it's the Bay Area, obviously, but when you from like them cities, it's kind of like on the outskirts, like Antioch, Concord, Pittsburgh, or like what's another good one? Brentwood, like Dublin. I hadn't even heard of, bro. I took this on my mom. I had never heard of the city of Dublin or Pleasanton until 2 years ago. I swear to God. I didn't even know I was a Bay Area now. Like now they trying to make the Tracy the Bay Area. I'm like, how the hell when did Tracy become Bay Area? But anyway, bringing all this up to say like this was more not even just a celebration of Bay Area culture. It was a celebration of just Northern California to me, because you got to include, they played Mozzie. You got to include the people from Sacramento, because Mozzie's music is slapping everywhere in California. They slapping them in the Bay hard. You got to show love to Sacramento. You got to show love to Stockton. You got to show love to Fresno, even though we're waiting for them niggas to come out with somebody who can really pop like that. You got to show love to, just anywhere. Like just in general, like Northern California in general, you got to show love. If you want to have a real conversation, all those cities that I listed, there used to be funk between dudes from Bay Area and Sacramento, because dudes from the Bay Area on a street level would come to Sacramento, set up shop, selling dope, and they'd have beefs between like the dudes who are quote unquote natively from Sacramento. Even though most of us as black people who are from California, if you grew up in, the thing about Bay Area is if you grew up in the Bay Area, if you're black, most of our families from the Bay Area came from down south or came from down south and moved to the Bay Area, and half of those families, I would say, went from the Bay Area to Sacramento. So even if you're from Sacramento and you from a hood that's like Oak Park or the Heights, you usually have some cousins that are either from Oakland or from Frisco or from Vallejo. I had family, I have hella family in Sacramento, but most of my life I lived in the Bay Area in Vallejo. So, it's the same way. So it's no need for us to have these divides when we're all connected. We all like, when the hyphy movement was popping, bro, you went to Sacramento, they was ghostwriting and going dummy out there and doing the little side shows too. So it is what it is. But overall, the battle was beautiful. I enjoyed it. I had a good time. If I had to say who won, I'd say by far 𝐒40. Just for the energy, just for the love. I love the fact that when you see 𝐒40, the thing about 𝐒40 that I love, when you see 𝐒40, I want you to understand something about 𝐒40. Whether you like his music, whether you like his lyrical technique, whether you like his delivery, understand the thing about this is the thing about 𝐒40 that a lot of people take for granted. Don't get it fucked up. And this is the difference between 𝐒40 and Too Short. 𝐒40 is a true master of his craft. Don't get it fucked up. Don't think just because he goofy and wear glasses and stuff like that in the dance, he is a master of his craft. When you see him on the stage, ghost riding, going dumb and doing the smees, he's a MC. He's been going on stages and arenas performing his songs for 30 years on. He's doing a show. He has show presence. I saw that when he was standing next to Too Short, and when he'd go sit down and Too Short would start performing, nigga, Too Short looked like Too Short performed as old as he is. Like, he performed like an old ass nigga. Hey, yeah, the crowd gonna say half of it. But nah. If you watch videos of 𝐒40 performing, it is fun. He doing his thing. 𝐒40, I've watched videos of 𝐒40 perform versus Mike Sherm perform versus Coney perform versus Monty perform, and 𝐒40 is actual MC. He is an MC. He rocks the stage. And on top of that, when it comes to his actual style of rapping and how he presents and how he flows and stuff like that, he actually spits bars. But what he can also do that a lot of people don't do is he has 4 and 5 different flows. He has 4 or 5 different flows. He does his offbeat flow where he just really just spitting game and saying all this stupid shit. But then if he wants to get into the pocket, he can get into the pocket. Too Short can't do that. Too Short can't do that. Too Short has that one flow that he's been using since 1963 and has been rocking with it. He can't do that, and only 𝐒40 can do that. That's something. That's a gift. That's something that. That's a gift. That's a talent. That's a skill that 𝐒40 has naturally and has honed it. He has 4 or 5 different styles and flows that he can get into. He chooses to do his little flow when he wants to. That's a talent. I'm gonna tell you something. There's a song with 𝐒40, SIBO, and what's that boy's name? What's his name? I forgot his name, but I think it's Brother Lynch. It's called Hit a Lick. Listen to that song and listen how 𝐒40 hits the pocket. The pocket, I'm talking about, when I say the pocket, I'm referring to staying on beat. And you'll hear like how genius this nigga is when it comes to music. This man knows what he's doing. So I think the goofiness to him, the square stigma attached to him because he wears the glasses and he's funny and all this other stuff, it takes away from the idea that no, he is actually a really talented craftsman at his art. It's the same thing with Jay-Z. I don't listen to Jay-Z like that, even though I think he's a great rapper, but say what I want to about how much I like his music. He is a true MC. Now, he's born on stage. Jay-Z is born on stage. But as far as in the art of rapping, he has 4 or 5 different flows. He can get into a different pocket here. He can get into a different pocket here. He's trained at his art. It is something to be said about when you see 𝐒40 and Too Short on the stage next to each other, and you see Too Short, whose music slaps, whose music does slap. Let's not take that from Too Short. His music is up to par. But it is a difference between him and when you listen to 𝐒40 and you see somebody who actually really does know how to perform his songs, how to really get down and dirty with his songs, how to really perform, how to get his bars across. It is something different. It is something to be said about that. When I see 𝐒40, I see a true artist and I see a true master at the art of hip hopping. I see a true artist at the art of hip hopping, of presenting a song, of doing what he does. When I see Too Short, I hear him singing, I just hear a street nigga who has a good hustle and knows how to get his music to the right people. It's not that point in the battle. I want to say it was the first two songs where he said he was selling custom cassette tapes to people. He would walk up to niggas in East Oakland and be like, I'm selling cassette tapes, and take orders from people. Go make their cassette tapes and put their names on the cassette tapes. So I see Too Short as somebody who knows how to hustle. And that's one thing the Bay Area dudes have naturally. We know how to hustle. We know how to grind. We know how to work smarter, not harder. Or both. That's the thing. So I respect that about him. I had to get that rant out, but overall,